Good afternoon once again. Oh, am I live? I think so. Yeah, good afternoon once again. We're here with another SMITE patch notes. Corrupted Arena is going to be the latest patch coming at you. And joining me on to start things off is going to be my good man Pom Pom.
Hello.
How you doing? You good?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. It's been a pretty good day. I got my caffeine in me, so I'm good to go.
Well, we've got a lot to go through. We're going to start things off with a little look at the card art for the skins we're going to be seeing this patch. We'll go into game later on to look at those skins and how they look in game. But for now, let's have a look at the card art. We're going to start things off with the Noble Esports Zeus skin that's going to be available in this patch. And it's part of, the SPL, and all the teams generally end up getting one if you stay in the league long enough. And this is going to be the Zeus one.
Yeah, this one's just really cool. I like the color scheme that they have.
Not just the Zeus, though. We also have more coming at you. We've got Sun-Kissed Amaterasu is the next on the list. I've not seen any of these yet, so I'm going to get to see it for the first time.
This card art's great.
So that's like this kind of the beach, the summer theme once again, right? That's cool. I like it. Looks pretty enough. On top of that, we will then have the Moonlit Ranger Artemis skin. That pet looks... What happened to Tusky?
He's just a dude. I guess he's not a dude, he's a boar. But he's not really
a boar.
Is that a boar? I don't know. It's some monster creature.
It doesn't look a boar. Not only that, we will also have... What the hell name is this? Earl Woobert Saint Kong-free Sun Wukong.
Yeah, you got that first try. Good job. That's it's another gentleman skin.
It's awful. The name is awful. The skin looks amazing.
That name is great.
Oh, please, I would like to purchase the Earl Woobert Saint Kong-free.
It's not like they have to type that in every time they want to purchase it. They just click the button.
I know. We could just make it simple. Sun Wukong and a Fez would have been better.
Nah.
Fez Sun Wukong.
Nah.
That would have worked. Next up is Dragonkin Skadi. Going to be available in this patch too. We'll have a look at the card out there. Ooh.
This has insane effects.
That looks really good.
I'm so excited to like be in the back showing this off.
Okay.
Super cool.
We'll see if we get it right first of all.
I should get it right. Should all be there.
Not only that, we also have Dragon's Rage Kukulkan coming at you too. There's a little look at that one. So we've got a bit of a dragon theme here, quite clearly.
Yep, but this one's a little bit tied to something else that we'll be talking about later.
Well, I mean, the arena, obviously, clearly.
Yes.
The patch is called Corrupted Arena.
No,
we don't have to allude anymore, Pom Pom.
It's still a secret.
Well, I just gave the game away. Not only that, we also have, yes, we teased it, we showed it. It's fabulous. It's Chiron, and he's fabulous.
This skin has the full package. It has.
I beg your pardon?
It has the.
I beg your pardon?
It has the amazing voice pack. That was the worst choice of wording
I
could have chosen.
Yes, it was. And of course, we will also have some Sun Wukong mastery updates as well, I believe. So we'll be able to see those. I'm not sure if we've got the card. Oh, we do. They look nice. Look at that bushy tail.
We did the gentleman skin, so the master's got updated as well.
So that's all the skins. It's time to get on with the main part of the show now, which is going to be all to do with the balance section, first of all.
Yes.
A lot of balancing this week, Pon.
Yeah, the aircrafters are going to have to kind of work this one out, I think. I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to decide what the best build is now.
Okay.
Just a little bit spoilers, but...
Well, we'll start off straight away with miscellaneous changes for you guys at home, just so you all know them too. It's going to be triumphant chests, first of all. We've updated the descriptions to make it more clear what items are contained in each of these chests.
Yep, there was some confusion of people getting certain items, and we just want to make sure it was really clear what items were actually in that chest.
Next up is consumables. We fixed an issue where players with a full consumable inventory could purchase consumables while dead, resulting in the item disappearing and the player losing gold.
Yes, this was like you have that 3k pot, you have your double wards, you're dead, you're like, I need a 3k pot now. You go to buy it without realizing you have a full inventory, gets consumed, and you just lose that 3k gold. That is fixed now. And
the final miscellaneous change this week is going to be for the ranked bank time. Yes, we had a bit of an issue with that, but it's been fixed now. Bank time has probably been decreased to 60 seconds, down from 90 because of the...
Yeah, the pre-planning phase to make up for that addition.
Good times. On to gameplay changes next. And the gameplay change, we're going to start off with a bit of love for Arena here. For all you Arena mains out there, we're going to increase the gold spooling. A few people have been asking for this pun, but it's going from 6 to 8. Yeah,
it was just a really bad feeling when you were a Scylla player and you had that like Rada Tahuti just finished and 5 tickets are left, and by the time you're walking out of the base, they all die. Then you don't even get to use that Rada Tahuti. So now you can actually finish your build with a little bit of time remaining, just to make sure that you can actually fight with that full item build, full power. So just more kind of fun using those like hyper late game mages and carries and stuff like that.
And the last gameplay change is going to be to conquest. Small change here. It's going to be towards those mid harpies that we did increase the experience of at the start of the mid-season patch, I should say. But we're going to revert that change actually and bring it back. The reduced XP and reward is going to go from 58 experience from each is going to be 55 instead.
Yes, what this essentially means is if you are a mid jungler in the mid lane, you share the first wave, and then you go to share a mid harpy camp, you won't hit level 2 anymore. anymore.
Right.
That was a change we made. We want to hit players hit level 2 as part of our overall adjustments for like Snowball and the mid-season conquest changes that we wanted to do. But it was just a bit too limiting on strategies. People felt like they couldn't actually start in certain places. They felt like they were kind of railroaded into a certain path they had to follow. We want to make sure that there's variety in starting options that players have, and so by removing this, players should have more options.
Okay, so there's a small little change to Conquest. Next up, though, is bug fixes. We've gone through the miscellaneous now. Sorry, I'm just getting my notes out. I've got so many notes today.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Next up, bug fixes Vampiric Shroud. As you can see on the screen, fixed an issue where Vampiric Shroud would proc multiple times on certain abilities. No!
Yeah, if you were that third
I was
player,
abusing Jing 10.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, I mean, I can.
Well, you can for now, but it'll be gone later.
Just this week only. That's all I've got time for. And on top of that, we've also done a bug fix for Shaman's Ring, Evolved Shaman's Ring. Fixed an issue where Ao Kuang's Wildstorm would gain the bonus damage early. Would it?
It would gain the bonus damage before it had applied the effect. It was a bit strange in the interaction, so we've just made it consistent with everything else.
Cool. That's the bug fixes for items. God bug fixes, though. That's a different story. Arachne, Nightcrawler, fixed an issue where landing on unleashed monsters would not deal damage. Makes sense.
Yeah, if you ulted, you're just escaping, you're like, oh, let's kill these back harpies. You leap on them and you deal no damage. That's fixed. It does damage. Other leaps deal damage when you land on the camp, even if you're out of leashing range at the start. This now works that way.
RTO next up, a general fix for her. Fix an issue where RTO could lose the ability to basic attack or cast abilities. So that means she was balanced at that point.
Yeah, when that happened, she was balanced. Heads up, we are nerfing her later in the patch.
No, we're not. Yeah, we are. We are. It was a joke. I just want to see. You should have left the heat there for a little while. We're going straight to the patch now. We're good. Cucullin, next up on the list. He's going to get Event Anger, small bug fix here. Fixed an issue where this could tick and extra time.
An extra time, yeah.
Where this could take an extra time. Okay, and fix an issue where this ability may not benefit from physical power. Oh,
yeah, so it was both it could benefit him and it could also hurt him. It's just now consistent damage when it should be consistent damage.
After that, it's Raijin. Yeah, he still exists. Raijin, charge tempo, fix an issue where the last ability cast would not receive the cooldown reduction.
Yep, and that was a pretty important part of his rework, so that he was getting this really consistent pressure with his abilities. Yeah. But the last ability he used to proc that effect wasn't benefiting from it, so now it would actually get the full 2 seconds off of it.
Now it's time to move on then to items changes, the big meat of the patch, the balance section. It's mainly items this week that get touched.
Yeah,
right?
So it's mainly items for a few reasons. Largely, we wanted to make a big item pass, and we impacted like a specific item that had far-reaching effects. So we wanted to make sure all the items were balanced around that change. And then because all the items around it changed, God balance is going to be a little bit strange from itemization and how all that shakes out. So you'd rather make the item changes, see how that all pans out, and then make God and item adjustments as needed from there, rather than trying to preempt or preempt any of these changes. Okay. We did it for one specific character, and we'll mention it later. But in general, we wanted to focus on items this round, not gods.
So the first item that's going to get a nerf this patch, first of all, is Iqval. Yes.
And this is the wide-reaching one.
This is the wide-reaching one. Iqval, decreased attack speed from 30% to 25%. But not only that, we've also decreased the passive physical power buff and debuff from 10 physical power per stack to 7 per stack. So that's what, 9 loss?
Yeah, it's a 9 loss over. So when you have it fully stacked, it's a 21 power swing in your favor. So that's 42 overall swing. So it's pretty significantly reduced.
Because it was a very effective item. It was very cost efficient for what it gave you.
Yeah, so Iqval was essentially... Hunters are all about synergizing stats together, and they want attack speed, power, pen, crit, strike, and this gave a huge amount of a whole bunch of them. And so not only was this good as a late game item, some people even kept it for a really long time as a 6 item rather than selling it, which isn't really where we want these tier 2 bridge items to be.
Sure.
But it also provided a huge early game benefit where if like the jungler came to gank you, you tried to box with the other hunter, they could trade with you, and if you didn't have it, you were at a huge disadvantage. So it was both really good early game and very good late game. We've adjusted the top end of the late game a little bit by reducing the attack speed. The boxing power and late game is also being reduced by the passive. We still expect it to be a popular item, but it won't be this linchpin of synergy.
You can't never sell it either.
Yeah. So like if you want it for the early game boxing potential, you can still totally go it, but it won't be like the defining item of a hunter build.
So we mix up a couple of extra things. Silver Branch Bow is the next one on this list, just so you know. Very, very similar to Iqval. Obviously, it's the same thing, but for the magical side of things of the reduction. So this is going to get the very similar changes, if not the same changes. It's going to be 30%. Is it?
It's a little bit different in the debuff it applies.
Oh, okay, so it's decreased attack speed from 30% to 25% and decreased physical power buff from 10 physical power to 7 physical power per stack.
Yes, but you're still shredding off that 15 power per hit that it was already doing. And that's mainly because we want to make sure that the power and the attack speed it was giving, which is the synergy stats for the overall hunter build, were reduced the same amount as Iqval, so you couldn't just go Silver Branch Bow. But we want to make sure the boxing power stayed intact for fighting magical ADCs. We've seen a pretty big rise in magical ADC success. We still want this to be a counter item to certain characters, so we're keeping that strength. We'll watch it closely. If it needs to be toned down, it can be toned down, but we're That's mainly why it didn't lose its power reduction debuff, why the physical one did.
Well, the next on the list is the one that AJ leaked earlier on this week, Cursed Gauntlets, or Devour's Gauntlets. They're tying together. Cursed Gauntlets is going to come down in cost from 1,450 gold to 1,400.
Which should make you easier to start with. You can get 2 potions.
Tier 2. Okay, and then on top of that, Devour's Gauntlets, it's the changes for this. We're going to increase the physical power from 25 to 30. Also, the physical power buff per stack is changing. It was 0.4. It's going to be 0.5 per stack. But not only that, we're going to decrease the max stacks from 75 to 70. So this would mean that completed Devour's Gauntlets would have a physical power from stacks from 30 to 35. But it would be a 1% loss in lifesteal from the stacks from 15% to 14%.
Yes.
But the other things are beneficial to us.
So it's a bit easier to build. It's a bit stronger early on. It's a bit stronger when fully stacked. I would say that generally losing 1% lifesteal to gain that 10 power overall is a buff for this item, especially being easier to build.
And a golden reduction too.
Yeah, and this is mainly to... Devo Gloves is a popular start for certain characters, but it really, really fell out of favor as lifesteal became less valuable due to a change we made earlier on, where lifesteal you couldn't hit for like 200 on a dead target and heal for that full amount back. It only heals you for the amount of damage you actually dealt to kill the target, and so lifesteal has really fallen back. So we're just giving this item a little bit of love, giving this item a little bit of more viability to start with, especially now that Ichval is a little bit changed. The overall power level of other hunter items have to kind of come up to address the fact that you're losing so much from Ichval nerf. So this not only is coming up a little bit just for Ichval being a little bit weaker, but it's also coming up a little bit more to make sure that it's a viable starter option for hunters.
Talking about other items in the hunter tree too. Assy is the next one on the list. This could flex a little bit too to some other roles. We've decreased the cost from 1,750 to 1,700. And not only that, we're increasing the physical lifesteal from 15% to 20%. Still keeps the rest of the stuff on it, obviously like the passive, but it's just being brought cheaper and better lifesteal.
Well, it's a 2-tier bridge item. It's actually getting the 1,700 gold all the rest are, first off. So that's just kind of a nice even messaging across all of them. But then we're also increasing its strength because it's a little bit cheaper, and the lifesteal. This is one thing that we saw a lot is people just really not valuing lifesteal a lot. Devo Gloves being better already kind of helps that, but then this Aussie being a flex pick that you can pick up if you really need lifesteal. If someone's building a lot of... if the backline warriors are diving, you need a little bit of health so you can actually stay alive before your guardians can peel for you. Or if you want to be sitting there and killing camps on your own and have that sustain or that boxing power in lane from lifesteal, this item is a strong flex pick now for that.
Next up is Bloodforge. That's going to get a very small cost reduction of 2,850 gold down to 2,800, so 50 gold off there.
Yeah, this is just a minor adjustment to make the item a bit more appealing. It's overall pretty strong, but it was very situational its usage. We're just bringing that cost down a little bit to address that like situational power.
Executioner is the next on the list, and it is going to get a power buff. 30 power to 35 power is on the list.
Yeah, so I talked about this on Devo Gloves, but as Ichval came down, since hunters are so synergistic, other items had to come up to kind of make up for that power loss. Executioner gained 5 more powers that kind of make up for that Ichval power loss and that Ichval attack speed loss.
This is a lovely hunter patch if you're a hunter out there.
Yeah, that's why I said theory crafters are going to have to sit there and figure out what the build is. Is Odibo still a really, really powerful item?
Hunters are going to have a big smile on their face right now, and a couple of warriors are like, man, I'm not going to be as tanky and unkillable as I once was either.
Spoilers for warrior changes.
I'm sorry. The Deathbringer next up is going to be a cost reduction. 3,000 gold for Deathbringer? The dream.
Yeah, so...
I could start that in Assault now.
Yeah, you could. I don't know why you
genius.
would. I guess maybe if you're current to have that lifesteal.
Hey, you get that one crit and you swim into the victory then. So why's it
I
coming
don't
down
know.
200 gold?
So this is largely also with lifesteal. Crit was also not very viable. A lot of hunter builds were maybe flexing in one small crit item just for the extra DPS synergy. They were really committing to a full crit kind of build. And Deathbringer is like the big linchpin for crit builds. And we nerfed it a few times. We also reduced the percentage that it gave bonus from 50% to 40%. And slowly over time, crit really faded out. We want to make sure that hunters have these viable build options. If they want to go lifesteal, if they want to go attack speed, if they want to go crit for big damage, making sure that there's items available for everyone to build so that they can actually succeed in building those items.
And talking about more crit, Poison Star is the next one on the list. That's going to go increase critical strike chance from 15% to 20%.
And so part of being able to build crit is having these situational items you can go to if the game changes around you. Because when you're committing to crit, you're committing really hard. So having these different options available to you, Poison Star is a utility option. Giving it the extra 20% crit chance makes it so that crit builds a little bit more consistent.
Well, I wish you would have done these the other way around so everyone's not panicking. But Titan's Bane is coming down in cost. It's going to go from 2,300 to 2,150, which is kind of like a revert to what we did at the start of the season. Right?
It's half revert. It was, what, 2,050 or 20?
Yeah,
or
2050, I think.
2,000? Like, that's a bad way to say that.
2,000.
I don't speak for a living.
Neither do I.
Anyways. It's kind of in between. Largely, it fell off as a pen option. We saw a lot of flat pen options like Brawler's Beat Stick. And this also limited players' abilities to deal with really tanky characters. We've seen the rise of 2 warriors going in the solo lane in the jungle.
Yep.
Part of this is because it's really hard to shred off that much protections. And so making this a bit easier to build is helpful for that. The additional change is also towers are tankier now. It's a lot harder to siege a Phoenix. It's a lot harder to siege a tier 2. Titan's Bane is like the best item in the game for actually killing those things, and so making it a bit more attractive helps that.
Well, good news is if you are magical, you also have the same option here, just like Titan's Bane. Obsidian Shard is going to get the same thing happen to that. It's going to go from 2300 to whatever you said it was.
2150.
2150, there we go. Is going to be what the Obsidian Shard is. Very similar story?
Very similar story. Basically the exact same story.
Okay.
Also, you'll see a slight other change is we got a lot of feedback saying that majors were a bit underwhelming. They're having limited farm in the mid lane due to like the amount of people there.
Yeah.
And so making these items a bit cheaper for them help them kind of excel in their late game role, which is to be able to blow people up. We also have another targeted change that kind of affects them in the direct matchup against warriors, but we'll get to that.
Stone of Gaia is the next thing on this list to go through as we stare at Pond's face. Yeah, we go.
Yeah.
We should just leave it on Pond's face as I do this. Stone of Gaia,
No, please
we're
don't.
going to be changing the passive, at least one of the passives on this. It used to be the knock-up one that we're talking about here. It's going to be the new passive is if you are hit by a knock-up, knockback, pull, or grab, you will gain 10% of your maximum health over the next 10 seconds. This can only occur once every 90 seconds. Just so you guys at home know, you will still retain the ability to regenerate 2% of your maximum health every 5 seconds, but the old 1 second immunity when you get hit by a pull and you don't get pulled anymore has been taken away.
Yes. So when we originally changed Stone of Gaia to add that passive, we were looking at the health tree as a whole, and we wanted it to be a high health item that had a really cool effect.
Sure.
All the other ones had it. It only had regeneration, which it was its identity, but it only had regeneration, which didn't feel impactful. So we added that knock immunity, and as we made changes over time, that really limited certain gods that really heavily relied on it. Fenrir, Ares, Tyr, Jingtian. By building this item and it being very difficult to knock off, unlike a Magi's Blessing where someone can just throw a CC out and pop it off. It was just too hard to remove, and it limited their viability. And we don't want a single item to do that to a god pool. We don't want a single item to be able to remove a character from viability.
Especially with their ultimates. Yeah,
it's their ultimates. So this now doesn't directly stop that from happening. You'll be a bit tanky. You'll have the 400 health. You'll be regenerating. You're regenerating bonus if you get picked up by a Fenrir, but it's not that hard counter that it previously was.
Shifter's Shield is next on the list, and Shifter's Shield is going to take a bit of a nerf this patch. It's going to have the 15 magical protections that were on it removed, but we also updated the item description to clarify that it gives 35 of both magical and physical protection. So you're still going to get the Shifter Shield passive for the magical protection, but you're not getting base magical protections. Is the big difference here now.
Yeah, the item tree itself was physical power and physical protections, and then once you upgrade to Shifters, it gave this passive that gave you bonus protections, but also got the 15 magical protection on it, which seemed a bit weird. And we were looking at that, and we were also looking at how warriors were being very tanky. They're doing really well, and mages were struggling a little bit. And so we were like, well, what if we just remove the protections from that?
Sure.
And so that now mages, especially because mages are very front up burst, they want to burst the characters at the start of the fight. They'll be bursting the warriors a bit harder because they'll have that less 15 protections, and then their hunter can come clean up when they're below 50% when the warrior actually has that full protection back on them.
Okay, Gladiator Shield is also on the list, and that's going to get a bit of a nerf too. Decrease physical protections from 45 to 35. So 10 off.
This is a very effective bridge item. As you can tell, we've done a lot to the bridge items. Aussie, Ikavol, Silver Branch, and now Gladiator Shield.
Yep.
It was just a bit too effective. 45 protections, 15 power. The cooldown reduction and the heal are very potent stats, especially on a warrior. They could build it really early, get very tanky very quickly. Because they have protection, they're self-healing. That's a lot of total effective health over the course of a game, especially for characters who could proc it really regularly. We like the playstyle that it encourages because it's this really cool poke, heal, sustain, fight playstyle. But it was just a bit too effective.
Okay, so that's been toned down a little bit. And then if you're an assassin, you might like this one a little bit. Heartseeker's getting a bit of a love once again. We've not seen it for a little while. Heartseeker is going to come down in gold by 100. It was 2400. It's now going to be 2300. But not only that, we're going to increase the physical power from 25 to 30 on this item too.
It was, when just looking at the whole katana tree, every item felt like they really had their purpose, but Heartseeker was a bit underwhelming. It was pretty strong when we first introduced it. We nerfed it a few times into its current state. We're bringing it up again a little bit so that people, especially assassins who build a whole bunch of power, feel like they can buy this item and get more damage on their burst combo. And also, if you're a warrior and you want to just be really bursty, if you want your bird bombs to hurt like incredibly hard, build this item, but you're not going to be as tanky. Especially because
Odin to build this item. Is that what
no,
you just
I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's fun.
You said build it on Odin.
Yeah, bird bomb someone for like all their health instead of like 80%.
It already does that anyway.
I mean, depends on what items you build. But it's a fun item. It has a cool effect. It has a lot of build synergy options. It was just a bit underwhelming. We're bringing it up so that assassins and maybe even warriors who want to flex into a more aggressive role can build it.
Okay, so that's it for the item section. Only a couple of god balances this week, and some of these have been pretty much expected to come through, just so you all know. Nothing too crazy. Start things off with the A's. Artio is the first one on your screen, and you'll see that her Surge, her Maul Prey, her first ability for, the switch up which you need, we're going to increase the cooldown from 10 seconds to 12 seconds for both these forms. Why?
So Artio does two things very well. She stays in a fight by being very healthy, and she applies constant pressure for a very long period of time because she can constantly switch. She has 6 abilities. She almost always has one up to use at you, especially if she has some CDR. By increasing the cooldown, both her ability to sustain in a fight through her 1 on the Druid stance and her ability to deal damage during a fight on the Bear stance are limited a little bit more.
Okay. Not only that, though, don't worry, that wasn't the only change, but we're not overdoing it, as everyone seems to think we do. Entangling Vines, the ferocious roar.
Huh? There's a bit of salt there.
It always. You have to have a little bit of salt in a patch now show. Entangling Vines will now only go on cooldown once the duration finishes, rather than immediately going on cooldown. Hey! But not only that, in bear form, we've decreased the ferocious roar protection buff. It used to be 10 to 50, is now going to be 10 to 30. So protection reduction overall, as well as this cripple field is not going to be infinite.
Yes, so again with the previous thing, she stays in a fight very well by healing herself, and she does a lot while she's in the fight. Being able to exert that cripple field over the fight multiple times very quickly was a bit frustrating to play against, especially if you were a character that relied on dashing or mobility skills. So now the window of opportunity for her to use that is lessened, as well as she's just going to get less protection in the fight, especially when she goes to stun someone and engage, so she'll be a bit easier to kill as well.
Next up is Camazot. He's going to get a bit of a nerf to his ultimate here in the early stages. We're going to decrease the damage per swoop from 140, scaling to 300, going up to 300, I should say, and it's going to change to 120 to 300. So it's early game nerfs, but late game still the same.
Yeah, late game still the same, early game nerfs. Largely, he was good at both stages of the game. His early game was very powerful because he had a lot of high damaging skills.
Sure.
And then when he ulted, it was very hard to answer back. He basically just ate all his damage, and his damage was really high. So we're toning that back down so that when he ganks you, you have a little bit more opportunity to live and survive and maybe juke at 1 or 2 shots or use an ability to avoid a shot and live through that versus just eating all the shots. But late game, we want to keep him the same. So we're just toning down one part of his kit so he's not nearly as good at like both stages of the game. And largely the frustration came from I'm mid lane mage or I'm a jungler, I'm fighting him, and then he just ults and he has a huge swing in his favor. So it's lessened now.
Okay. Second to last one, Freya is on the list. Would you believe it? We're going to be changing her base attack speed back to where it once was. It was 1.0. We changed it to. We're going to put it back down to 0.95. But not only that, we're also going to look at pulse. We're going to decrease the pulse damage bonus. It was 30 to 70. We're now going to drop that to 25 to 65.
Yes. So we did a few things to Freya. Mainly, she was really low. When we first started talking about it, for the community thought she was really weak. Our stats also showed she was very weak. The reason she got so many buffs was because of that poor stat, like where she was.
Sure.
We buffed her
itemization.
in itemization and base kit, and that caused her to skyrocket really high up.
Can you just let the community know how high up she went, by the way?
Let's just say it's like top 5, like easy. So she went from bottom to top. We overdid it, especially as a hyperscaling mage. It's very easy for like a slight adjustment to have massive implications. So overall, though, we're toning back down the base attack speed she got because that gave her an extra shot in the early game.
Sure.
And then we're also toning down the pulse base damage so that she's not clearing as heavily as she was. But her itemization is still intact. Demonic Grip is still a very powerful item on her. Hasten Ring is much better now. It's still a very good way for her to chase down targets. So she should now fall in the middle spot, hopefully. But as a hyperscaling hyper carry mage, it's always a little bit iffy. But this should put her in a much better space.
But we'll keep an eye on it as well, obviously, going forward. If it does need toning down or bigging up again, we'll look into it.
Yes.
For sure. And finally, last but not least, a bit of a preemptive one with this one, with Rama. Because of all the Hunter item changes, we're going to just do a slight little touch to his Astral Strike here. We're going to decrease the bonus damage. It was 15 to 55. It's going to come down to 10 to 50 instead. So it's 5 up for all ranks, basically, Pompon. Why are we doing this?
So we expect 2 things. One, the itemization changes that we made for him. Rom will benefit pretty heavily from. These kind of more heavier crit builds. He already has an attack speed stirred in his kit. His ability to clear really early and get those stacks really quickly potentially could put Rom a little bit higher than other hunters.
Right.
As well as there was specific feedback that we had that his ability to clear the early camps especially with Astral Strike being able to pierce through everything,
Yeah.
was a bit too fast. So we're preemptively nerfing that down, as well as preemptively nerfing him for the itemization upgrades that he's getting.
Gotcha.
So we're going to watch him, and this is with all hunters. You notice that he's the only one being touched because we had like a secondary reason.
Yeah.
All hunters are going to have to figure out what their builds are now. All hunters are going to have to figure out what's good, what's bad. Some hunters are going to move up more than others. Some hunters are going to move down more than others.
I mean, this
We
feels
wanna watch-
like it's going to be all attack-based ones that could rise here.
Yeah.
The ability ones are probably going to stay where they were.
It'll be interesting to see how that actually pans out.
Okay.
So we're going to watch it very closely. We'll make adjustments as needed for both items and hunters due to all these changes. But we didn't want to go too heavily in adjusting them because then we don't know if the adjustment we made to them was too much or if the itemization is too much.
Well, that's the patch.
Yeah, that's it.
That's at least the balance section, but it's not over just yet because we've still got plenty more to bring you right
there's
now.
so many more sections.
First up, Corrupted Arena. I wonder what that could mean. Well, we're back. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me on the desk?
Got you, man.
Cool.
I
I'm
can
just
hear
making
you.
sure that's all
Absolutely.
because I've just had a couple of issues with my mic, it seems, in the patch now so far. Corrupted Arena. There's holes in the arena map, Travis.
Yes.
Why would you do such a thing?
Well, this is a new adventure, so we thought that we would take a lighter tone on this one, look at what we can do with existing maps. So we looked at Arena, and we thought, what better way to change Arena than to actually alter the map space that you're playing in. So, as you can see, you start where there's holes in the arena, and you can throw people into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it still plays like Arena, but there's some added features in it, basically.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So the best thing to first of all go over to is, from what I understand, Matt, you're in help with, in charge of all the map design and things like that. This map evolves as we play, I believe, is what I've heard. Is like actually more holes develop and things happen with the map as time goes on.
Yeah. So as you play the screen in the game mode, there are a couple spots on the arena map where you'll see like cracks in the ground.
Yeah.
And at some point in the match, that area could change.
Really?
Whether it be a hole that develops or something just drops from the sky like you saw in the video.
Yeah.
Things like that can happen all around the map.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that as well, Clumsy, I mean, I'm looking at this, Clumsy, as well, and you played a little bit of the playtest of this. How does this actually end up playing out?
So I was watching the video there, and I think some footage from the playtest as well. And I was just smiling the entire time because there's a lot of holes that are already in the arena. There's ones that develop. There's all sorts of meteors that are falling. I don't want to go too much into it because it's something that's a little bit more randomized, this arena experience, and you want to feel it for yourself. So you want to take characters and gods that can push and utilize those arenas and those areas in the holes. It's just a bunch of fun.
And you're an arena main yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm totally an
so
arena
now this
main.
kind of mixes
I
up
should
the
go home
meta
and play
a little
arena
bit.
all day.
I heard as much.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I'll play with you.
I know
I
you
mean,
want to swear at me, but it's tough.
have you tried?
It's my show.
That's not the only thing.
So back to the map a little bit more. Sorry, back to the actual game mode itself. Now, obviously, with it being an adventure here, Travis, as well, we always end up having some sort of like a buy-in option that can get you some bonus stuff and things. I heard something about shards that you earn by playing this mode.
Yes, that's correct. So in this mode, what we're going to do is, as you play Arena, you will get points for the amount of time you spend inside the arena, and then you'll get some bonus points for winning the arena.
Okay.
So outside of the match, you get to use those points to purchase unlocks through different lost treasures from the Mayan reward section in the progress screen. I think we might have that image. I don't know if we can pull that up.
We'll see if production get that ready for us, but talking about it a little bit more with the shard thing.
Yeah.
So you earn shards by playing the game and just playing the game modes.
Yes,
and
that's
then
correct.
you use those shards to purchase potential things that are available, right?
Yeah, so there's 3 sets of basically like a chest.
Okay.
And each one of those chests has 8 items in each one of them. And as you earn points, you can use those points to roll in each one of those things. As you complete them, there's 24 total, and you can gain them all to get a completion bonus, which is an awesome chest. Now, inside of those chests, there's some really exciting rewards,
Okay.
including Ragnatosker. Oh, we have the screen now.
Oh, there we go. Awesome.
There we go.
So as you can see on the right side, you can see everything that's in the tormented treasure, and so you can see those 3 are the top 3. I think are the tier 1 skins. A couple of other things down there, and as you gain points and you spend on the tormented case, you get those one of those rewards, and as you complete them, you get the bonus.
Now you can see on the left-hand side there as well is the little actual package that you can buy for the adventure bundle.
That's correct.
Which will get you the Kukulkan Dragon's Rage skin, which we showed earlier on, and we'll show it in game later. But it gives you 2,500 FP. But not only that, 2 times earned shard, so you can actually unlock these quicker because of that.
Yes, that's right. We're looking at a concept screen.
Sure.
But yes, basically you get 2,500 shards for
it's arena points, not FP.
when you
My
purchase the bundle. That's okay. When you purchase the bundle, you will get an injection of 2,500 shards, and then you'll also earn twice as many shards while you play the game.
Oh, that's cool. So you can immediately use those shards that you've just got from unlocking the bundle to immediately buy stuff.
That's right. That's
Cool.
right. And then we also wanted to include an option that if you didn't want to purchase into the bundle, but you still found yourself wanting to earn some of those rewards, we do also offer 2,500 shards for, I think, 200 gems is what we're going to go with.
Okay, so you don't have the time to go for and grind out for all these skins and things. You can
Exactly.
just buy the shards for gems.
That's right. And in that
theory.
corrupted case, like I said, there's 3 exclusive tier 3 skins in there. And so for 200 gems, you're basically getting something that it costs 600 at the time. And so it's a really good deal if you only did that. But, playing the game mode, if you're going to play the game mode, it's obviously best to just pick up the bundle and earn points twice as fast.
And then on top of that, just so you know as well, when you do pick up the bundle, you'll get the gold key. If you're part of the adventures that have been going on a long time, you'll get access to the gold key. And we'll be adding in Scotty. That Scotty
Yes.
Dragonkin
A
one
very
will be
cool
actually
skin.
part
I heard she
of
looks really good.
the vault
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
That's
it
really
does.
cool. So what's the main aim? I mean, overall with this as well, Matt, I'm looking at the idea of the map and things. I don't want to count the show too much in game right now, but how long do the games last? Do they last the same length of time sort of thing?
Yeah,
or?
generally they last about the same length. You actually don't realize that the game is going on because there's so many events happening
Yeah.
that their match is over before you even thought, hey, I'm going to do this. So, yeah, generally they're about the same. And they're also on a separate queue, just for everyone out there who's queuing for this.
So normal arena still exists.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't queue for
Yes.
normal arena.
That's
It's
really
for
important.
this arena. We have a separate queue for this.
I mean,
I was
Yeah.
ready for the backlash then. I told
I
you.
know,
I'd
yeah.
been in trouble.
Yeah, we
No,
were
we
afraid
thought
to
about that.
change the base game mode, so
Yeah.
we wanted to put
So
in.
clumsy god selection obviously changes in this. Have you seen any fancy fun things? that
Oh
we
yeah,
weren't
there's a lot of
expecting?
fun. I think one of the
Who's
important
OP?
ones. Who's OP? I mean, everyone's OP in their own way, right? But
I mean,
you have-
obviously you want a displacer. If you're not throwing someone in the hole,
Exactly.
you're doing it wrong.
as we saw in the video, this like Fenrir, you can ulti and you actually can take people to the holes and drop your ulti. And you can go Hercules, you can go Kuzumbo. I think one of my favorites is on her as well because he's got one of the only range displacement abilities. And I think Tyr as well, just blinking in, going in there with your Lawbringer and just forcing people right into the hole as well. You got to be careful that you don't go along with them, which is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
important.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen the Ares ult jump into the hole.
yeah. And just take people
I
with
would
you.
suicide
Because I mean,
every day.
it's fun,
To be fair,
right?
Kuzumbo's going to do that all the time.
Oh,
He's just
absolutely.
people in the hole with himself. I believe I saw F-Dot playtest once and just kept running in going, I'm the best. it was
Yeah.
good times.
Now there are some gods are banned.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say, is there any things that are not available?
Yeah, well, Kukulkan because he's trapped.
He's in
You have to
charge.
free
It's
him.
kind of like the Nike game mode.
Right.
Nike being in charge?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then like anyone with a pet, generally, so we've got
They do some funky
Chunga,
stuff.
Erlungshen, Scotty.
I think Scotty as well.
Even
right?
Chunga, the poor bunny.
I know.
The bunny
but
bugs out?
yeah, if you
Okay.
throw her and the bunny go in there, the bunny
just
may not
never
ever
comes
return.
back.
Killing bunnies has
Yeah.
always been a dream of mine. I'm joking.
You
can
I'm
see the
joking.
Kukulkan just with
I was
the
about to
bunny
get
in his
some really
little
bad
bubble.
peta for
Yeah.
I wasn't them.
And then we also have some new banned items. So obviously the fun of this game mode is to throw people in holes. And Magi's blessing doesn't let
That's
you do that.
anti-fun.
Rest in peace. That's true. That's true.
We're gonna remove that, and then unfortunately we banned Stone
Well,
Gaia,
you
but I
guys
didn't
have
know
planned.
about the patch.
It's fine. You guys. So this shows that some of the departments they plan ahead of time. You guys have banned Stone of Gaia, but then we've just changed
Right.
it. But it's still out of the game
Yes.
So
anyway.
we might,
It's
we might
still
bring
not-
it back. We might not.
Yeah.
We'll work that one out. This looks great though. Is there anything we've not touched on to do with it that we should be looking at?
Well, there is one other thing. This is the fourth adventure?
Is it the fourth?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be
Is it
having
4 already?
It's
yeah.
been 4.
Holy
we'll be
moly.
having one more adventure coming towards the end of the year.
Okay.
It's gonna be really exciting. It's kind of why we went light on this one because this next one is gonna be pretty epic.
I trust you,
Yeah.
Travis, too. Like,
It's pretty sweet.
to be fair, Travis,
It's-
when you say something's good, I'm like, okay,
It's-
maybe it is.
It's
so.
going to be pretty exciting, and that will be the final one.
Okay.
And something that I wanted to touch on here and put in some of the descriptions in the game is that if you owned all 5 of the bundles, then you will get the bonus key at the end.
Right,
so
okay.
That way, if anyone is like someone that just want to collect everything, they will have an option to get that if they've already purchased into the bundle.
So if there's one that you guys were waiting on at home and you were trying to wait for the next adventure,
gold
you will
skins.
at least be able to get that if you've already unlocked all the bundles before. That's cool. Gentlemen, absolute pleasure as always. I look forward to seeing how the corrupted arena goes on. That's fantastic work. I'm just checking what's next on my list. Next on my list is I don't know. Community! That was it! The community guys are standing by. I forgot who it was. It's David and Zach standing by in the community team right now to have a quick chat with me. Guys, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. How you both doing?
We're doing okay. Yeah, we're doing really good.
Cool. Well, you guys have got a couple of updates for me as well, I believe. David, we've got some special favor thing going on this weekend?
That's right. This weekend is 2x favors, so you can earn a bunch of triumphant chest unlocks, and everyone can be a big-headed baby. It'd be great.
Hey,
Good
I,
babies for everybody.
I like that. I wonder if you got that on for the Chiron. I wonder. I heard you were involved in the making of that voice pack as well, David. Is that true?
Yeah, Tina actually let me sit in on the recording session, and I helped pepper in some homosexual memes into his voice pack.
You and Tina basically made a voice pack together?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to listening to this one, I'll tell you that much. And Zach, alongside that, what else we got going on?
We still have the community skins on sale for 50% off. So that's the Midnight Dove Oelish and the Fallen Lord Kronos from last year.
50% off. Okay. Well, we'll touch on those a little bit later on as well. Zach, is this the last time we're going to see you on screen now, too?
This is unfortunately the last time.
Thank God for that!
Oh, my God, Hindu, no. This is the first time we've actually been together-ish on a cast.
Intentional. I wanted to give you a good send-off. That's why.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I thought you just didn't want to roast me.
It's an intro and an outro in one, Yeah. I get to say hello to you for the first time and goodbye to you for the first time.
Yeah, so if you guys want to kind of follow me, I'm really thankful to Hi-Res for everything, the opportunities they gave me. And I'm still going to be doing my Retake SPL, which is my esports show. So if you want to follow that, I'll still be doing that on Wednesdays. And really interested to see where the opportunities take me after this.
Okay, well, congratulations. Good luck in the rest of your career and stuff. Shame production didn't get a sellout lower third for you, so we could all just witness that. But you guys, thanks so much. Hopefully, if you want to tweet at them, you can go ahead and do so. David, Zach, thanks very much. But it's time to come straight back to the desk because I've got some 3 other wonderful guests joining me this week and 2 who haven't been on the desk before, Savi and Isaiah.
Hey.
Isaiah, you work in the console community team,
Yes,
correct?
I work on the console team as a QA analyst.
Oh, so you're the main guy that fixes all the issues the guys have.
Try to.
And Savvy, you're the punching bag for all the issues.
I am. I'm the one that they scream at when stuff goes wrong.
Now, the reason these 2 are joining us on the desk today alongside AJ is to go through project. I'm not going to say hello again. Well, you're here all day.
Oh, yeah.
You're here all the time. Hey, AJ's back.
Thanks, Cindy, for introducing
It's
me.
okay.
I really
Welcome
appreciate
to be sitting
that.
next to me, by the way.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
It's the first time ever. Project Olympus is what we're going to be talking about next. And we did mention about Project Olympus. It was going to be over a couple of patches. We're going to be updating things. And this one, guys, is all about console.
Yes.
Oh, but we have one other special treat.
Oh,
we do. It's a pretty big treat.
Well,
Yeah.
Let's start off at the top with, I guess, AJ, your big special treat.
New SMITE game website. This is something we've been working on for
the way
a
you said that,
really
new
long
SMITE game
time.
website.
Yes, this is something we've been working on for a while. This is something the community's been asking for a long time. So here you go. On SmiteGame.com, you're going to see a complete visual overhaul.
Okay.
It looks very different, really nice.
I've not seen
much
it yet,
more
so-
modern. All new updated information about gods and items, even a really cool item builder tool on there.
Oh,
so,
really?
go get on there and check it out. And the patch notes today will be posted on the new website. That'll be
Yes.
up and running today. So be ready to see it.
So set out SmiteGame.com and have a look at the new website when that comes out. Isaiah, first thing to mention on the Project Olympus changes as well is we were talking about this, it's been mentioned, but new controller options are now going to be available.
We've got 3 new, very exciting controller options coming to console. The first one is going to be the ultimate toggle use on the shoulder buttons. So if you're playing on Xbox, RB, LB, PS4, R1, L1, so it's going to be an option to let you turn off that ultimate usage. One thing that's been in Smite since the release on console that some people may not know about, if you're on the Savage or Lefty control scheme, if you press both shoulder buttons at the same time, it's actually going to trigger your ultimate. Some people like that a lot, and then some people are like, I don't like this. I'm always using my ultimate.
But now
so
you
we're
have
giving
the option.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, we're going to let players turn this off. If they don't like it, if you do like it, just keep it on, and it's going to work the same.
So win-win. You don't lose anything, but you gain options.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. What's the other one then? Is it aim acceleration? I heard?
Yes. So the other one is kind of a 2-in-1. We're giving players the option to kind of fine-tune their sensitivity.
That's cool.
So if you are playing on console, we're going to give you an option to configure your thumbstick dead zones and aim acceleration. This is going to be especially useful because the nature of Smite. since it's third person, it's all about, hitting skill shots,
Yep.
turning very quick.
Yep.
And we wanted to give players on console an option to kind of, find that sweet spot.
And fair credit to those console kids, because some of those are really difficult on console with the turning circles, some abilities.
We got to keep up with the pace.
Watching SEL, some of those players, man, they do some crazy stuff.
Crazy. If you did realize how difficult that was. But Savvy, not just controller options, is it?
No.
We've also going to have some player stats on it.
That's right. So now coming to console, when players are in game, you'll be able to you'll be able to see certain stats on your HUD while in game. So you'll be able to see things like movement speed, attack speed, any item you have equipped, and how that helps your build. Like, it'll be there on your HUD.
Yeah, you're going to be able to see
in-game.
the benefits of your item build in real time without having to open up the store.
That's awesome. And then not just that, we've also got social improvements as well, right?
Yes, this is a big one. We wanted to find a way for console players, because communication is kind of limited on console.
Sure.
We wanted to find a way to kind of help players connect and play together. So into the indie match lobby, we're going to add 3 options. The first one is going to be, you choose a player that you like. Maybe they carried you in game. You're going to be able to invite that player to your party.
Friendship.
Exactly. You're going to be able to invite a player into your clan, or you're also going to be able to invite a player. You view their profile, so you can add them as a friend on console right from the in-match lobby.
Because sometimes you weren't able to do that before, and you'd have to go and manually search them
Exactly.
up and try and
Yeah, you
find
kind of
them
have
again.
to fumble
messy.
through the menus. It's going to be all in the in-match lobby.
Yeah,
That's really
super
cool.
You don't have
easy.
to leave the game anymore.
Exactly.
Which is
That's
really nice.
Really cool. Not only that, still going on with Project Olympus, we've also got the point value to God leaderboard for console is coming. We've got it on PC already, Savvy,
Yep,
right?
that's right.
We're
So-
doing the same thing for console.
Yep, easy peasy. Just porting that feature to console with 415.
And what is that just for the console players out there that are not sure what it means?
It's basically a visual representation of your progress on the leaderboard.
Okay.
So you'll get points for wins, and you'll deduct points from your leaderboard status for losing. So.
And then finally, on the Project Olympus section, which is quite big this week, I'd say, is the PC UI memory improvements, AJ.
Yeah, so this was an issue
This for
that
PC.
Certain PC players would notice on a little lower end machines, if you're playing on low settings, with a lot of the UI textures. They would have some issues loading. Sometimes they would look strange, maybe even slow down your performance. So we did a whole overhaul on that. It should be nice and smooth and looking good now.
Awesome. So that's all the change for Olympus. That's pretty good stuff.
Lots
Yeah.
of stuff, especially for console.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really
Gotta
good,
look out
really
for
good.
console
deals.
Shout out to all my thumbstick warriors on console.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get Isaiah back in the future because you did a good job today.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Well spoken,
Thanks
young
for
man.
having me on.
I've been sending
Congratulations.
tweets his way whenever I can.
Yeah, keep tweeting at Isaiah. He always likes to help out. But that's it for the Olympus section. We've still got more things to show you. But before we get onto the skins right now, have a look at one of the new contestants we're about to release on the caster.
I'm Ron Jobert. I'm John Robert Osment. And I don't know if people know this, but, when it comes to Ron Jobert, the name, it was really hard to come up with because you take John Robert, then it's like a spoonerism, you have to flip the R and the J. It's Ron Jobert.
That's fantastic.
That took me $7,000 to get in real life, because of royalties. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say it on camera. I started with SMITE because I played beta. The first god that I remember being in SMITE, being new, was Ram. My friend and I played together, and all we would play was Match of the Day. And we started playing because we saw these, I think it was YouTube videos, like Achievement Hunter or Rooster Teeth in general. They love playing SMITE and doing the videos and that kind of thing. And I started playing it, and I love playing Loki, and just being one of those guys is Loki in Arena is actually sick. This is nuts.
Well, there you have it. A little look at Ron Jobert. I showed my mother-in-law a picture of Ron Jobert. You know what she said?
What?
What?
He looks like a Volkswagen with the doors left open.
I don't really get it, but okay.
Oh, you will. You will, eventually. But I was like, yeah, kind of does. Now, judges in the desk, we've replaced Isaiah with Chuck, the legendary Chuck, who's sitting miles away from me today. How you doing, Chuck?
Oh, no, it's weird. I'm on the end of the desk.
I'm
You're
sorry.
over there.
I got this new
It's real
position right here.
confusing now.
Generally, what
More
it is
important next to
you
Hindu.
put the most important people on the outsides, and then it moves in, That's the main thing.
I don't know where he got this logic.
It's just because it was easier to
He's
switch
on
to the
the
end.
outside.
Anyway, it's because, yes, exactly. It's because I'm on the outside. Skin time, boys and girls. It's skin time. Won't you show some skins of
Good set
mine?
today.
Noble Esports skin is the first one on the list. We saw the card out earlier on. We can see it again. He looks mighty.
I don't know how you don't shout out to the sunglasses at the first. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
first call out. I
To
mean,
be fair,
those
I just see the
are
shirt.
dope.
I see the Noble shirt, and the Noble shirt looks awesome. So, After seeing that, I didn't even notice the shades on top of it.
I mean,
And we also continued our esports trend of making sure the rest of the outfit synergizes with the shirt.
Hell yeah, because in the old days, we just kind of threw a t-shirt on things, right?
It's true, and then you ended up with like on her who's got a shirt and no pants, and you're just
he's a Catman.
like, what?
Yeah, I can see the gold and black trim on the robes to go a little better with the noble color scheme, and yeah, it looks really good.
And I'm guessing that's going to be part of the chest, one of the esports chests for that team as well. I'm guessing more than
Usually
like with
a bundle.
Skin. Yeah, it's a little bundle thing that you get where you get that and skin. Sorry, not chest. I don't know why I said chest. I just got the whole community panicking.
Yeah, careful.
The bundle. I know. Whoops, I'm having a couple of mistakes today. But that's it. A nice little look at the Zeus one. It's time to move on to Sun-Kissed Amaterasu, where we can go in game and see this one.
This is
very
summer
summery.
Smite.
Yes.
Yep. So it's summer of Smite time.
I love the sunflowers in her hair. This is so pretty.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of, stay with the core Amaterasu theme. Give it a summery outfit,
Yeah,
lucky.
Summer.
It's a classy summer outfit.
Yep.
Looks good.
I like this one.
Now, do the abilities change with this one too? I don't know what.
Yes.
Skins these
Yeah,
are. That's why I was
those
checking with you because I've not checked.
Updated
up on
effects
these.
and voice pack with this skin. Yeah.
Oh, fancy. Well, when Pompon's ready.
So if you want to be a little more ladylike, a little less samurai,
Right. Amaterasu, she's a leader and she's elegant, so this skin just really works well.
I agree.
It's just touches of class with her, really, is all you really need.
Yeah. Morgan got the bikini skin, that fits Morgan better. Amaterasu got the sundress.
That's right. She's a little classier than
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Just checking production real quick that the sound is louder for the viewers at home because it's quite quiet in my headset, but that's okay. It's okay with me as long as the stream can hear it. That's the main thing.
I like the mirror too, and I like how that's kind of reflected in the ground effects right there. Oh, and there's a flower too. You got to hit some targets there, Pon, so we can see the escalation.
Pompon doesn't hit targets. Have you seen him in a playtest?
Oh, I have. And he goes 20-0 with Thanatos.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's going to crush me next time I
hits
play now.
targets.
He's just going to focus me in game because I said that.
We all have our good games and our bad games, but
So
I
we've
see a
got
little more pink
orange
moved
and
in.
pink theme
Yeah.
here. It's delicious.
Little
Tasty.
flowers too.
The mirror projectile really cool.
Looks really solid. It's got a voice pack too, I believe, so we should have a listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's more
You're
than
so cool. You're so cool. Oh, yeah. I'm just a ray of sunshine. Oh, you think you're cool, don't you? Socks and sandals? Really? Why didn't Ganesh buy a suitcase for his vacation? Because he already had a trunk.
I knew that was coming.
You could
I
tell
knew
it was
it.
coming.
Yep.
Why would Osiris not go on summer vacation? Because he is too afraid to relax and unwind. He is a mummy, get it?
Wow. with the joke sale, the explanation.
Get me out, get me out, get me out, get me out and take me to Moonlit Ranger Artemis is next up. Oh, I'm so looking forward to seeing what Tusky looks like because on the card art, he looks amazing.
Yeah, he's like a...
He is kind of like a land shark type cave
I
monster.
like that term, yeah. Cave
Land
monster was
shark
kind of where we
cave
started.
monster.
We started with cave monster. We were like, what does that look like? And
I love
then
the
we
look of
ended
that
up at
bow as well.
land shark.
Yeah, we're like, get us a cave monster that fits on the pig.
It's a little bit reptilian, a little bit dinosauric.
So she's got a sort of an evil elf look to her, is how I would describe this.
That would be a pretty
Oh,
accurate
yeah.
description.
Was that the aim?
Yeah, pretty solid.
The aim.
Mm-hmm.
The aim. Get
Oh,
it?
look at her hair.
Yeah, she's got a different,
Braids.
definitely different hairstyle too. So yeah, we wanted something that was very diverse from base Artemis in color scheme and overall appearance.
Ooh, I like the effects colors already.
Yeah, there's blue
Man,
and
Oh,
purple.
yeah.
purple and blue.
It's very nice.
It's tasty.
How do the traps look?
Hidden in plain
Like
sight.
more mystical vines.
Yes,
Definitely.
mystical cave vines.
Classic empowered version.
Yep.
Yeah, the stem effects on the bow look cool.
And now one of my
Antlers.
favorite abilities up next, you ready? Because of its name.
Suppress the insolent.
Yeah, what a name.
You are so insolent too.
That is.
I can't help it.
And
That's why I'm hired here, I think, more than anything, to be
you're
slightly
infinite.
insolent.
You're also always suppressing those insolent people on Twitter and,
That's my
and
job.
Twitch and etc. So
Or
I'm the
AJ if
balance.
it's hot enough.
I get insolent sometimes.
So you can see the ability's actually been hit now as well. Just
Yeah,
to
looks
look at
good.
that. Good job, Pop, hitting abilities. It's good to see.
Getting molested by some vines there.
And then, is it really still called Tusky? Do we still call it Tusky? It's not a Caledonian
It's the
boar anymore,
Caledonian
either.
boar. Well,
That's
now
a
it's
weird.
mystic-
What
now it's
the
mystical. cave beast, armadillo
It looks
cave
like a
beast.
Yeah.
Why did he go? He just went over and started munching a cyclops.
Yeah,
that
after
was
he
weird.
uses all the gods, I guess he pats
He's
back
showing
over
off.
to it.
That's why.
Yeah, can you maybe cast him away from some stuff, Pon, so we can just like scope him out a little bit?
Yes.
Because
this could be a tricky
he
one for
does the
Pon, this.
classic
Yeah, he likes
sit
to run
down if you miss.
Yeah, he likes to run
The
around a
bane
bit,
of
though.
all Artemis players is the sit down.
That looks amazing.
Oh, I really like this. Yeah,
Look at the size of it.
I love the armadillo scales shell. Really cool.
Yeah, it's like he has a little exoskeleton. Like,
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
to mess
definitely.
with him.
That looks really, really good. I really like that. He's got a voice pack too, I believe. Can I have a listen to the
Yes.
voice pack?
That was masterful. Woohoo! Outstanding. My skills are unmatched. You are not welcome here. Not while I draw breath.
They're taking the halflings to Asgard,
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo!
How many dwarves does it take to light a torch?
3. 2 to bang their heads together, and 1 to catch the spark.
You know, some classic fantasy references in the jokes and taunts
Yes. Help me, please. Is it always just Tina who does all these top jokes and things? Or would you even admit it if it was you?
Me and Fish participate in a good bit of them.
And if they're bad, they just pretend it was
It's Tina.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, it's the
You
same
know,
way.
it can be hard to tell if a joke's really going to land until you finally hear it in the final form. Sometimes it
You
even
can't
sounds.
use Tina as your scapegoat, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's me, you know. Sometimes it sounds okay on paper and sounds bad in the booth, and we change it on the fly. Sometimes it just doesn't work out according to plan, you know. But most of the time, I think they're pretty funny.
Well, it's time to move
They're
on to
great.
one of the longest skin names in the history of Smite. Earl Woobert Saint Kongfree Sun Wukong.
Let me help you with this.
Go on, then.
Woobert Saint Kongfree. You get the Wu Kong in his name. Woobert Saint Kongfree. So you get Wu Kong in his name. And all gentleman names have long, extravagant titles with
Listen.
true.
All I know is this monkey's got a fez on,
He
and I'm
does.
happy.
Earl
Okay?
Woobert Saint Kongfree.
That's all I care about. He's got a fez, and he looks fantastic in that smoker's jacket.
He's chilling hard.
Damn, he looks
That
good.
jacket. Look at the silky
It's yeah.
fabric.
God, this voice pack is this voice pack for me is going to be so important because it's like the perfect feel for it.
And his fez dangle even sways. He's got a very expensive looking staff and some fancy pants.
And the glasses.
I really like that because generally you are chilling when you're playing Sun Wukong. So
Yeah, did you see the glasses kind of get that reflection there too for a bit? That was nice.
good. So Jingle Bang.
Oh, money.
Literally money.
Coins. He's rich.
He is. Yeah, these gentlemen's skins are generally a little.
He should
love
lose
the,
gold as he does that.
They're a
just
little
so you know.
pompous and arrogant
Little
and
flashy.
standoffish and wealthy.
I love the bump offset when he smashes the ground too.
What's a bump offset
The
check?
bump
Just for
offset pushes the pixels down in an illusionary way to make the crack look like it goes into the ground.
Oh, very nice.
Hurt
There's
you
some
said cross.
technical
See?
art learning for
That
you guys.
looks really good. I did see as well. Okay, so we get to see all the forms of the transformation. He's still got his fez on. That's the most
Oh, yeah.
important
Yes,
thing
all
there.
of the animals wear
They
the
have
hat.
hats.
And that was shown in our spoiler art.
Hell yeah.
Tiger with a hat on.
Just running around in the fez
Yes.
all day. That's
Ox
not
with
so
the
bad.
hat on.
And then when you
Bird
need to
with a little
escape,
tiny hat on.
a bird with a
So I can just buy a fez now and cosplay. I'm quite happy. I can now wear a fez because we've got it in the game. I'm like, yeah, I'm just cosplaying.
Now you can.
God, that jacket is so perfect.
Yes, it is. I need one.
It's a baller jacket for sure.
Now, obviously,
Ooh, that's a
That's
coin.
It's like a Chinese coin. Yeah.
riches.
He's
I
a
like
very
the
wealthy Sun Wukong.
Cha-ching.
Let's have a listen to the voice pack that goes along with this skin then.
Oh, yes! Good day! I am unmatched! You have potential! Now listen here, you primordial imbeciles! Observe my boomstick! Flattered, truly, but frankly, my dear, I'm not interested. You know they're working class when their TV is bigger than their bookcase. People tell me I'm condescending. That means I talk down to people.
I like this pack.
Yeah, it's good.
I like the jokes and so on. They're my
I
favorite.
like stuff. I'm flattered, but not interested.
And he has a very
Well, next up is going to be
condescending tone.
Dragonkin Scardy. This one is going to be part of the adventure behind the vault door for you guys at home to have a look at. And I believe it's Paleoleo was very excited about this one, AJ.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been wanting to do some more skins. We kind of experimented a little bit with Uller a little ways back with kind of this, dragon's armor. And then we, like Scotty, we've always wanted to turn Calder into something a little bit more than a type of canine. So we turned him into more of this kind of dragon beast. And here you can see him in his elemental ethereal form. And when he starts fighting, he'll gain the black scales and golden horns of the Scotty armor.
So Chuck, how difficult is it to actually try and remodel? It looks like does that require a whole remodel to do this sort of skin to have the Calder change complete form?
So it is a little tricky. We try to keep the anatomy somewhat on the dog, and then animation has to go through and do stuff, right, to get the dragon dog to work. But we try to be very careful about it. And try to make the craziest thing we can that still sticks on the animations. So it took a little bit of doing, but it's pretty awesome.
It's all fire focused, as you can see by the auto text. Right. You can see the glowing, flaming spears now.
Yeah, they look great.
And didn't you call Calder something different in this skin?
Yes, in all of Scotty's voice packs, she calls Calder by a different name. So he's the Saint Bernard. I think his name is Bernard, and here his name is now Smolder.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's a cool name.
That's perfect.
Yes.
I like that.
Calder being
so you can see him now in his solid dragon form.
Although he can be a bit tough to see because he's chomping on that Odin.
True.
But
he's like a growing dragon form, though, isn't he? It's like his wings are on the way.
Yeah, he's a wingless dragon, really.
I think it's not often that I do that, but I really hate when I go, ooh, because I'm just like, ooh, that looks fancy.
That looks nice.
Some slidey lava rocks.
Oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah, that same thing where, depending on where you cast it, you get slightly different cracks.
That still works with Scotty just because when you step on molten lava, you've got to go,
right, obsidian. And obsidian is slippery. It's a slippery
That's true.
rock.
It's a lava flow. A lava flow.
That's true. Your feet are melting, though, as you're flowing.
Hey, it does damage.
Yeah, it does.
It does do damage, indeed.
Quite a bit.
And then obviously we do have the ultimate as well.
Bye-bye, Odin.
Oh, does he go for it? Where's he gone?
Bots
in peace.
When you force a bot to move, they just never stop. He's just going to keep running across the world.
Sounds like my ranked teammates.
Oh.
Hey!
Rip.
The Dark Cinder Field.
Nice little whirlpool around it, too.
Yeah, really cool.
Nice. Now, obviously, it comes with a voice pack, too. So we can have a nice little listen to that.
Woo! Excellent. We do all the work. Does it look like I fear you? You're worthy. Stay a while. Smolder is excited to meet you. I don't need a man. My dragon loves me, is loyal, and actually listens when I ask it to. I am the mother of dragons. The other one's just a wannabe.
Oh.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Look, Calder kind of grows with you when you laugh. That's fun.
So that's the Scotty one. It's going to be available as one of the gold key purchases behind the vault. But the one that you can get from the new adventure startup, the Corrupted Arena, is going to be Dragon's Rage Kukulkan if you purchase the bundle.
Full-on Dragon Kukulkan.
He's a freaking
This patch is very dragony.
It feels that way. I can see it.
We really wanted to go with a traditional kind of Western fantasy dragon look for the old Kukulkan.
The Okada looks fantastic. I just hope it represents in game. Oh, yes, it does. Look at
He even has arms.
Arms and legs.
He's got arms.
Look at his arms.
He sure does.
They're right there.
I just realized he can now buy boots.
It's actually anatomically quite different from base Kukulkan. Definitely took some extra work from the modeling and animation
teams. He's got all
teams.
kinds of appendages.
Had to do a lot of work for this one. We're really happy with how it turned out.
Other appendages that he used to have that are now gone.
Yeah, he normally has 4 wings or even more.
Is he unsullied now? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That's why I was confused. Nope, no one got the joke. I'm sure
I missed
stream
it.
will. I said, is he unsullied now because he's losing appendages?
Oh, ouch.
That's what I said.
Yes.
We were following the theme quite clearly, so I just thought I'd keep going that way.
You should help Tina write the
Just because
joke.
we have dragon spawn.
The effects look great, too.
They do look fantastic. What do the tornadoes look like?
Whoosh, 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 dragon. Got a fiery.
That looks painful.
I like that secondary spiral around the inner one there, Chuck.
The flame tornado.
I just want to see what it looks like when it fades. Yeah, that was really cool. So you can clearly see when someone's been hit by that. And then finally, Spirit of the Nine Winds.
Dragon of the Nine Winds.
Oh, did we rename that too? Oh, wow,
No,
that dragon
we
looks
didn't rename
amazing.
it. It looks like Kukulkan all of the times when we do the skin that model up in the air.
It reminds me of a certain scene from a certain show. That's all I'm going to say.
There was lots of dragons and lots of things before that show. You know?
Sure, but I'm just like, that's just in my brain because of what just happened.
Spoilers.
I don't care.
Guys.
Because of what just happened recently.
Nothing special happened. Don't you worry.
All the time.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't care.
I haven't seen
you
it yet. No.
That wasn't a spoil anyway.
She's too busy.
There's dragons in the show.
It's
I'm
okay.
not sure
I'm-
what this recent cultural reference you're making is.
Wait, we need to shut up now because Pompey says to be quiet. Hindi spoil. I'm not spoiling.
He's
I'll
trying
still
to do the
enjoy it
voice
when
pack,
I see it.
and you're talking.
Your claws are mighty.
I love this voice pack already.
That is awesome.
My scales are impenetrable. I look forward to scraping you off the bottom of my foot. I can rip you apart faster than you can blink. What's red and has claws all over it? You and your friends.
Nice.
Humans. I merely chew to scare them, but never swallow. I prefer gods.
Okay.
Looks awesome. Sounds even better in my
That
opinion.
laugh animation is pretty sweet too.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
do the clap again? I didn't see that. Sorry.
The laugh.
Oh, the laugh animation.
Ooh, the Kukulkan jump looks really dope on this guy.
He looks
Snake jump.
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Well, on to the next skin. There's only 2 remaining. We've got mastery skins for Sun Wukong, but not just that. We've got this
Okay,
black
now-
boy.
You guys, no, look at
Oh.
the bottom of the card art. Do you recognize those people?
We think it's Savannah and Amanda.
It is, and David, all 3 of us.
I believe someone on Twitter even pointed that out.
Really? I haven't looked yet, but
Wait, where's David? In the middle?
he's in the middle. And
Oh, okay.
when you look at the key art, every person in the audience is one of us 3. Our artist took pictures of us and painted
That's
over us.
crazy. That's awesome.
It
Look
came
at
out so
that.
cool.
That's nice.
Fabulous Chiron.
So
Where
now
did the
I'm going
idea?
to point out we had plenty of badass skins this patch, kids.
Look at the sparkles.
This is a badass
But
skin.
not everybody likes skulls and dragon armor.
That's
No.
true. We want to make sure we get something
Some
for everyone.
people like rainbows and
You can be
unicorns.
sassy and badass.
Oh, he's fierce.
He's
That's
got
the
a
word I
bag
use.
full of butterflies. I did
butterflies just
not
flying
even see
out?
that until just now.
His bag's just sparkling?
It's
Yeah.
butterflies.
He
got
has
a
his
bag
magic
full of
satchel from his
butterflies.
passive. That is
okay.
rainbow butterflies.
I'm so scared about this voice pack before I even hear it, but so far, like...
Those
Look
rainbow
at the
shots.
rainbow
They're so
shots.
good.
Okay.
This idea happened, and then half the people in the company in the room freaked out, and they were like, "What? I don't know about this."
It took a couple iterations to
know.
get it looking really
We
good.
know.
It did.
Can we just do that again for the quick? I want the noise.
Ooh.
Listen, teacher.
Rainbow shots.
With
Masterful.
the stars, yes.
Masterful.
That's I've got nothing to say. I'm just in awe right now. So I'm enjoying it.
so rainbowy.
That's great.
I'm just jealous I didn't buy my own unicorn horn so I can match David for Patch Note Show.
I mean, you're not going to be ahead
He's
of him
gotta
on fashion
Can you
accessories.
rotate the
He's
camera
not gonna do
enough for us to really appreciate that?
Oh my goodness. Look at the rainbows. If you didn't know where Chiron was, you'll see him now in the
And
distance.
look at his smoky feet. He produces pink smoke wherever he goes.
It is truly a fantastic, fabulous skin.
Fabulous.
Check out these projectiles. Oh,
show
sweet
off.
penta.
See that again.
When you see these giant rainbow arrows flying towards you on the battleground, it is terrifying.
Beautiful and terrifying.
This looks great. I really do like the look of this.
Beautiful
I think it's,
and
I think it's awful. I want to vomit every time I see it, but I'm vomiting with a smile on my face.
Vomiting
you know?
rainbows,
Some
like
people
the Snapchat
can't handle
filter.
that many colors. We understand. But
I know. I'm just not used to it. Black,
I
and
love
black
the
and evil is all I'm
full
used to.
range of colors
I love the
available.
projectiles so much.
Now, it does come with a voice pack, and like we said earlier, David and Tina wrote this voice pack. So we'll have a nice listening to all the innuendo you could possibly muster
was
into a single voice pack.
It was so much fun sitting in the cube listening to them go back and forth with
yeah.
ideas. It was like the happiest day in the office.
Okay, let's go, Palm.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
David is dancing in the background.
He's very happy.
Call me Daddy. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen.
It's rude to stare. I don't know her. From Monday to Friday, my body is a temple. From Friday to Sunday, a ruin. I like my men like I like my cream. Whipped.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a voice pack.
We made that, you guys.
We did make that.
And now,
Doesn't
Dream Daddy was not even a thing
It wasn't,
when
that's
we decided
is
to do this. I'm just pointing that out.
That's true.
I mean, realistically, Chuck, the turnaround time for a skin normally takes quite a while, doesn't it?
It's pretty long.
Oh, yeah,
it takes a while.
months.
Like, we come way ahead of time. But
Those rainbows are
that's
amazing.
Chiron.
Yes, they're so cool.
Going to be available in the next patch. I'm sure we're going to be seeing plenty of Chirons in the Dura lane, especially with the Hunter buffs too. We'll see how that works
been
out.
popular even before that.
I know,
Whether
for
you're
sure.
legitimately enjoying it or trolling, it's your
Everyone's having
choice.
fun.
We're all going to enjoy just having him running around.
I just want him to call me Daddy, that's all. Next up, Sun Wukong Mastery Skins is the last thing to show you guys. We are going through our usual updates of the Mastery Skins, and it's Sun Wukong's turn.
And for that guy who won't stop tweeting me, we made the Sun Wukong Mastery skins already.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, there's
It's
someone
cool.
there's someone for
Thumbs
every
up.
god that
There
just
is.
tweets us every single patch. When are
Where
the
is it?
masteries? When are the
Yeah.
masteries? It's like we're planning them as fast as we can. We're sorry.
Well, Sun Wukong, here we go. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it does look amazing.
It does.
though.
It
I mean,
looks great.
I so much prefer the style that we went for, though, than the
Of course.
everybody is gold.
Yes.
Like their
Sort of
skin.
feel. It's like they'd all been had the Midas touch. That was all that happened
Yes.
the whole time.
Well,
So.
we've got. And that's
we're
a
making
long
good
story.
progress, but we're making good progress. That's all that matters.
Well, here's a look at the legendary as well, the black and gold. My favorite is definitely the black and gold.
Oh yeah.
Always will be. He looks great. And then finally, last but not least, we do have the diamond one as well. Because diamonds are forever.
And so is Sun Wukong because he's really hard to kill.
Yeah, he,
Yes.
you know, he is.
Great balancing, AJ.
His mobility is a unique facet from the warrior
So,
class.
are you saying you think Sun Wukong is in the top 10 win rate?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, he's not.
I'd say he is.
Well,
I'd place it better that he is.
I know the answer, but I'm not going to say it. So let's just move on.
It's either I'm wrong or Chuck's wrong. Neither of us want to be wrong. But that's it for skins. That's all the skins we have time for this week. That's a lot of skins, though. And
Solid skins. Solid skins this patch.
We'll end on that
summer.
diamond ox. or
Diamond
whatever that was.
Ox, indeed. Well, before I let you go, we've still got a bit of a Q&A session. I'm going to have AJ stay alongside. Pon's about to join me. But before we do that, Hi-Res Expo tickets. The early bird tickets are still on sale right now. Save 25% on your tickets at Hi-Res Expo. You're going to be able to get that for yourself. AJ, you're going?
Oh, of course.
You better be.
Yeah.
You better be.
I mean, I think I
'cause
have to.
You have to, because you have
But
to,
I also
you have
want
to
to.
apologize for that Chiron skin that just came out. Let it go
Apologize. We
through.
would not apologize for that.
Not just the Hi-Res Expo ticket, we've also got full split pass as well. Make sure you get that for the season ticket, available in 4.14. You unlock for 400 gems. You can vote on all the SPL action that's about to take place in fall, and potentially get yourself that fantastic new Scientist Cupid skin as well.
Yeah,
or
it's a fun
Evil
one.
Scientist. And then we've also got, as David mentioned earlier, the weekend event, 2x failure and triumphant chests are going to be available for you guys as well. And not only that, we've got 50% off the Midnight Dove, Awilix, and Fallen Lord Chrono skins too. And last but not least, in terms of promotional things, just to mention, we also are going to PAX very, very soon. PAX West in Seattle. I'll be there along with a few other staff members. Any of you guys going? Do you know?
I don't think so. It's a community team, some Hand of the Gods, some Paladins.
It's mainly Hand of the Gods and a few other things that are going to be there at PAX. Will be there in attendance. And keep an eye on social media for who's going to be there in attendance. I will be going. I'll confirm that now for you.
We got some great codes and cards and stuff to get out there, so definitely stop by the SMITE booth. Like, really cool stuff.
Lots and lots of free swag for safety for you guys as well. So time to just round out the end of the show, and we've been asking for this to come back potentially for a little while. It's the Q&A session.
Yeah.
And this Q&A session, like, we've not done it for a little while,
Right.
but we've started to try and restructure the way we did it. So just random 20 questions. We're actually looking at the questions and the ones that are getting most input.
Right, so we're always getting lots of questions. Sure. You're on the design team, Pon and I, constantly from Twitter, Reddit, etc. So what we wanted to do is just kind of make this a little more formal, get a little more structure to it, a little bit more pattern. And, people are always asking for AMAs or doing kind of quick things, and that just really doesn't work out very well logistically for us. Like, just spending the time sitting there answering the questions for an entire day is really difficult with our work schedules. And we like to take our time and do some research for some of the questions. When we rush into answers, that's when things can get more confusing. So what we're going to do here now is a completely new question and answer system. We're going to have You can submit questions through Twitter, Reddit, talk to high-res employees. We'll bring them up in a meeting. We'll always make sure we find the answers that we think people want to hear the most.
Sure.
We don't want to avoid tough ones. We want to find ones that are popular and interesting and reusable, especially ones where we get the same question a lot or we get a lot of people really wanting to know the answer. We're also going to start a new web page. It's going to be the High-Res Ajax Tumblr, where I'm going to have all of the questions and answers there in text form, so you don't just have to watch the video, you can have it there. The best part about that is you can go back, we can search that later. If we see a discussion coming up on Reddit or Twitter and people are arguing about it, we don't have to type back out the response again. We'll just say, we talked about this here. Here you can see some historical evidence about what we said about it, and you can use that to better inform your opinions and just really encourage more positive, healthy, useful discussion amongst the community.
Okay, well, Pon's joining as well, obviously, to make sure Pon is involved in this too.
Pon's always here to help out, make sure I don't say anything stupid.
So let's go. Question one is, I'm going to see on the screen, how will the new Q&A system work and how will the questions be picked? Well, we just said that one.
And I went into that a little too
Damn,
early.
we're good. We're so ahead of ourselves.
That was the first question. If you have any more questions about that, just ask us too.
So what was the thought process behind cases such as Golden Bow and Hasten Fatalis, where an item is buffed and then it breaks the current system, so it eventually just gets removed?
So we get this question a lot.
It's always about Golden Bow, that's for sure.
Yeah, Golden Bow, but Hasten Fatalis more recently here.
Sure.
And, so here's the thought process. First thing is we have an item. This item has a unique passive that could be fun, but it's only used on like one god. Or not even. Maybe it's just very, very, thrown in on a couple of more experimental builds. No one's really using it. But we like this passive. We think it could be more interesting. So we take that item, we make some adjustments, make it so it's more widespread applicable to the game.
Yeah.
Now, as we can see, based on these cases, once that happens, we learn a lot about the item. When the item starts getting used a lot, we learn new information that we didn't have before. We see the types of effects it has on the meta and the game as a whole. Unfortunately, in both of these cases, we determined when these effects were widespread used, it actually caused a lot of problems with the game. Either A, really, really unfavorable stats. So say in the case of Golden Bow, causing hunters to completely dominate every lane. They could play any class, any hunter, didn't matter. You'd be fine. You'd be very highest chance of winning. Or in the case of Fatalis, we get lots of frustration, community feedback, and or making the gods just all play kind of similarly to each other because these passive effects were actually too strong to see on a widespread use.
Sure.
So what we do here is we're faced with this tough decision, which is, well, we could dial the item back to the place where it was before. So just the one god might be able to use it. But that's really not a good scenario to have. We don't want these extra things in the item store that don't need to be there. We don't want this kind of trap scenario where you're playing this god, but you might be unsuccessful unless you know the one item they need. So it's better to just get rid of the item, adjust the god, and we have done that with the gods that really relied on Golden Bow and Hasten Fatalis. So,
yeah,
Paul, if you have
Mercury.
anything to add?
Yeah, Mercury received buffs very quickly after the Golden Bow change. He's pretty good now. The Hasten Fatalis adjustment, we moved it completely to the physical, so it still even exists in the game. It's just in a more limited case, so that it's not breaking everywhere else in like the hunter class. And then we also made an adjustment for mages as well, and we're currently in the process of balancing that around that as well. But when it was widespread use, it was really frustrating to play against. And with Golden Bow, it was really only used on one character, maybe two in a limited situation. It's better to just bring those characters up in line rather than make them rely on this single item.
It's almost like a crutch at that point.
It's why not just have the base god be god on its own so it can flex into more items in more different situations than be forced to go into this one specific playstyle with this one specific item.
So that's why we choose to, remove it as opposed to revert. I think there's a pretty solid list of pros and cons there, but...
Well, next question. The next one will be, why is there so many more sources of physical damage than magical damage in Smite?
Right. So I think both of those two questions we pulled off of the Reddit. They were highly upvoted design questions. So we're watching and pay attention to that.
So why is there more sources?
So this one's a little more different. This one's a little more interesting. This one is... one answer is that it's kind of always been like that.
Right.
We've had this class system in place for a really long time. We have mages and guardians are the only magical classes. We have hunters and assassins and warriors on the other side. So we already have a slight imbalance there, just alone. And we don't really have plans on changing that. We have some gods that can flex into other roles, but we're not going to depart from this system anytime in the near future. So the game has been operating on this procedure for a really long time. Like a lot of the items, the power, protections have been going through balance iterations for years to get this feeling good.
Sure.
So the main question is, if we ask ourselves why would we want to do this? If we did want to make a change to make them more even, what advantages would it have and what disadvantage would it have? And when reasoning this out, it would have an extremely possible wide-reaching issues, like changing it so mages, mages are the only magical class you could kind of justify that they need to be potent, they need to be a little harder to itemize against because they don't get supported so much with other damage. Changing the way tanks would itemize could completely shift how well you could push towers, how effective assassins and hunters and warriors all could become. It could lead to many changes if we realize that making magical more prevalent nerfs mages. So then we maybe buff mages in response. What actually changed? What even happened? Now we have a slight sense of symmetry. Yeah, I guess that feels good. But now we just went through multiple balance patches, tons of work that me and Pon can be spent on other things, just for similar gameplay, but with slightly more symmetry.
I mean, that question as well, for me, it's like, well, there's 3 physical classes, Pon, and 2 magical classes, technically, right? So that would be a reason why there'd be more physical items.
I mean, and we see this with itemization as well. Like, generally, physical protection items are a bit higher end than magical protection items already. In terms of like their ability to be bought and purchased. So magical items are stronger than the physical counterparts, so that when that situation arises where you can use it, it feels very impactful. But yeah, you can see through the itemization changes, if you look at all the magical protection items and physical protection items next to each other, they're balanced with this idea of this imbalance of physical and magical. If we were to change that, it's going to require mage adjustments, hunter adjustments, assassin adjustments. Every class would need to be adjusted in some meaningful way. Items would need to be adjusted in some meaningful way. And then also just getting the correct balance of magical and physical on the map itself. Where like if we were to change phoenixes to magical and some of the bosses to magical, is that enough? Is that too much? Is it not enough? Like, there's a lot of moving parts there. It's especially since it's been operating and balanced around this for so long. Getting this sense of symmetry just with all this wide-reaching implication is very, very dangerous.
Okay. We've got one more question left.
Yeah, one more.
At the moment, so we'll look and see what it is.
Yeah.
Why don't you increase the requirements to play Ranked Conquest? It's a good question.
It is. And we're going to really try to find good questions here, questions the community asks. And so this one came from Twitter. We get this one a lot. I believe we've even commented about it.
Yeah, we've commented on it a few times
before, but we want to just reiterate it here, and now you'll be able to find that written response again. But the answer is because the key important factor to making Ranked Conquest matchmaking better is to get more people in the queue.
Right.
So people suggest this. They say, why don't you just filter out the bad players? Well, first of all, you don't want to take less people out of the queue. That's just going to cause the players who maybe do meet the requirements but still aren't very good are just going to get paired up even more. We really would want more players to be playing at any skill level. If there's more bronze players in the queue, they all going to be paired together, which is going to keep the gold and platinum games only gold and platinum, keep the diamond games only diamond. So really, we've been causing starting some new initiatives with Season 4. The ranked recall effects, some new ways the rewards are done, some more splits for more rewards and for more reset feel, so you don't feel like you're grinding for the whole year, but you can kind of pick your time. Do you want to play more? We're trying to do this all to get more players in the ranked. The last thing we want to do is stop players from playing ranked.
Yes.
But at the same time, Pod, I mean, I don't know what one way of us wording this as well is the fact that, we want to have more people in the queue, but we also want to make sure that they've at least played some Conquest. And I think that's one of the angles that the community might be looking at here,
Well, in general...
It's like, how many should they have to play? How much should they know about Conquest before they're able to play ranked?
I think there's 2 answers to this. One is, statistically, that just doesn't happen. A person doesn't hit level 30, play for a long time, and then go, my first Conquest game is going to be a ranked Conquest game.
Right.
The amount of times this happens is very little. If we were to do something like that change, it would filter out very few people. But it would put this big warning sign on ranked being like, hey, this is a big deal. It's scary. Don't queue for this. And a person who might want to then play Conquest to move into ranked might be discouraged. And then the second answer is, if a player isn't particularly good, they'll go through their qualifier set. Once they're done with their qualifier set, they'll play slow. They'll play some more games, place a little bit lower. And then they're going to be filling out that bottom pool. And as that bottom pool fills up to make sure that there's players there, they're going to be matched against each other. They're not going to be... If the matchmaker has an issue where there's only 3 bronze players in the queue at that specific moment, it's going to be like, well, these guys need a match. We're going to try and make them a match. We're going to wait as long as we can. But then they might start reaching into those silvers or maybe even a gold game. And that's how you get on a team as a gold player into a bronze match. So making sure that bottom pool is really fleshed out with players is very important. And so limiting that queue is just not going to really help anything.
So in theory, you shouldn't be trying to limit people from coming to ranked and pushing them away from it by saying you're bad. You should actually be like trying to get more people in so that they would get matched against those people.
Some players are not good at the game. That's fine. You can still play the game competitively and play ranked if you're not good at Conquest. You will go to the bottom end of the Conquest queue, but you'll be there with other people who are not particularly good at the game. Play there, learn the game, slowly climb up over time as you learn the game. And that's really what the rank system is. You're supposed to start, play,
and grow.
Place at your skill level and grow. And so we'd want that to be true for bronze players as well as gold players as well as masters, grandmasters players.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Well, there's a Q&A for this week. We will do one every week.
We're going to keep this going. So we'll keep an eye out for tweets. We'll send you the links to the website and the place where you can submit questions. Keep them coming, and we'll try to update you every patch show with a couple, and I'll even answer some that I just post right to the website.
Awesome.
And some that we think are a little more interesting, we'll talk about here.
Now, obviously, if you guys do keep sending those in, the ones that do get the biggest attention, the ones we're probably going to answer too. So
yeah, that's fine.
Make sure you keep asking all the questions you
Make
guys
some
want.
posts, give it the upvotes and likes, and show us which ones you really want to hear about.
Before we go, Palm, what's your favorite thing in the patch?
I think my favorite thing is either the Chiron skin, because I think that
it's fabulous.
Yeah, it's great. That skin is just really, really great. The other thing I really like is actually the Project Olympus stuff. There's been a lot of features that console have been asking for a long time. We got to them. Ability to like actually customize your control input. That was one thing that when I started playing it, I was like, I actually want my dead zone to be a bit bigger because I push really hard on my control stick, and so that is actually a really cool feature.
I'm really excited about that too. But I think the Corrupted Arena is like, it's really fun.
It looks really cool.
We walked into the playtests, and this was some of the loudest screaming and laughing that we've ever seen in a playtest in Smite. That everybody was just hurling each other into the pits with these displacement gods.
Yeah, they weren't even trying to win. They were just trying to throw as many people into the hole.
Crying, laughing. It's a lot of fun.
Well, PTS, when's out?
Soon.
You're
never going to get an answer unless it's like already live before the show starts.
Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you'll be live to go, it'll be tonight or it'll be next week.
Yeah, we should have a QA or Larson have like an updater to us right now, so we can just have a light that says like yes
or no,
maybe.
Well, keep in touch with us. Keep an eye on us on social media. We'll announce when the PTS does go live, so you guys at home can give it a go and try it all this weekend. Test out all the new haunted changes, the new arena map potentially on there as well. And that's all we've got time for this week. But thanks for tuning in and enjoy the fabulous Chiron that's going to be in every single one of your games. Until next time, we'll see you all later.